It has been really hard to play a deck right now which is not Fiendsmith and still can keep up with all the other decks like Memento Fiendsmith, Snake Eye Fiendsmith, and today I'm going to talk about a totally different deck which is definitely... Ooh, what happened to my camera? No. No. Okay. Really weird. But okay, I'm still here. Yeah, so we're talking about Mimighoul today because Mimighoul is a deck which is based on putting flip monsters to your opponent's field and then flipping them, giving your opponent bad effects like destroying their whole board or discarding one card from their hand. And I do think that this is really good because, one, you can definitely mix this up with other archetypes which synergize well, like Kashtira, because you can just activate their effects when your opponent activates the effect, and if they have a mandatory flip effect, then you can just trigger your Unicorn and get rid of anything like a Promethean Princess or like an Access Code Talker or whatever. And what's also good about this triggers the Talents and Thrust, and that makes it even better. And that's why I do think that this deck is really good. And also, bear in mind that this deck is already very good, but it will also get another support wave in the next set. So if the next wave is just a little bit good, this deck could maybe become tier 2, maybe become tier 1, so we don't know what happens, but I am really looking forward to it. And let's hop right into the deck profile. So this is the deck profile. I don't know if you guys know this deck, but we've got different Mimighoul monsters, which are all, except for the master, are level 1. And this is the one card that says your opponent draws one card, then send one card from your hand to the graveyard. So bear in mind, you give this card to your opponent and then you flip it and then your opponent draws, so you draw. And your opponent has to discard one card, so you pretty much go +2. And also, this card is given to you after that. So this is really strong, and as you can see, this is also the monster which can by itself get to your opponent's field. And yeah, of course, they also have effect on normal or special summon. This is not that relevant. You can just flip ups. It can be relevant if you have this and like another dragon or something. Then you can just special summon this to your opponent's field and then normal summon this. And yeah, then we've got the Cerberus, which is a little bit similar. Also flips on your opponent and then has the drawback. This banishes the top 3 cards and special summons one of your banished monsters to your opponent's field. So this gives you a monster. And this also can be special summoned to your opponent's field, and this also gives control. So the thing about this gives you pretty much 2 bodies, and yeah, you can, for example, then go for an Anima or an SP after that. And yeah, then we got the Mimighoul Dragon, which destroys all face-up monsters your opponent control, or you control pretty much. And then you can give control of this card to they all give control to your opponent, to you pretty much. And this is also able to add a Mimighoul spell and trap. That's pretty strong because this can then add, for example, the Mimighoul Maker, which pretty much says get yourself one flip monster and then give your opponent one set flip monster. And this can also banish itself to then on your opponent's turn when he special summons, change one monster to face-up attack, which pretty much triggers your Mimighouls. And yeah, that's it about the monsters, pretty much. We've got also the Mimighoul Master, which is on normal or special summon and add for a monster. Oh, this reconnecting is really, really weird. But okay, we'll just go over it. And then you can add, this is the add, and this also during your opponent's main phase changes one monster to face-up attack position or defense position. So this also triggers your flip effect monsters. And yeah, then we've got the Mimighoul Dungeon, which pretty much is a rota for Mimighoul monsters. And this also says if your opponent anyone who controls a face-down monster cannot normal summon monsters or declare attacks with monsters that were special summoned. And this also boosts all Mimighoul monsters which were not special summoned or normal summoned this turn. So also a good thing. And yeah, then we've got the trap, which is basically special from deck, and then you can change one face-up monster. No, this special summons to your opponent's field, and then changes one face-up monster on the field to face-down position. So this pretty much gives you the monsters to your opponent's field, and then you can use them to, yeah, to trigger their effects with other cards. Yeah, okay. And that's pretty much it about all the Mimighoul monsters. Then we also got Prosperity, because you don't really need an extra deck. And then we've got the non-engine, which is really good because you can play Shifter in this deck, because this deck does not rely at all on the graveyard. And as I said, you pretty much trigger your Frost and your talents, and you can trigger your Kashira monsters. And because these are pretty good bodies on the field, I just decided that I want to play this engine with Terraforming and Raids Off, because if you already have the dungeon, the Terraforming and the dungeon would be pretty redundant when you already have the dungeon, because you don't want to search another one. So you can just go for Raids Off at Fenrir, and then use the dungeon afterwards. And that way you can pretty much, yeah, get yourself another engine through that. You could also try to play more hand traps, but I do think that the Kashira engine is really good in here. And also you play like those more like game-ending hand traps, and that's why I do think that this is fine. You can also use the impermanence always as a board breaker, and then there can be only one, which is also a super strong board breaker pretty much, and also Floodgate, because these are all different types: Fiend, Beast and Dragon, and this is Zombie, and then your Kashira monsters are Psychic, and then for the extra deck you also have every type, like Winged Beast, Fiend, Spellcaster, Fiend, Machine, Fiend, Cyber, Spellcaster, Warrior, Cyber. So there are a lot of different types. And then we just come to the extra deck. I just got over them. This is pretty much only a toolbox, because you play Prosperity, so you always banish 6, and of course, like, also I put this in here because they are all Earth, and also you play Fenrir. But yeah, that's, I mean, you will probably most of the time don't play against someone who plays Earth in their extra deck. So yeah, this is just a toolbox. This is a good rank 1. This is a good rank 1 for Zeus, and then this can flip up your opponent's monsters. So this can trigger your Xyz, your Mimighoul monsters. And then we just got the generic Phoenix, Unicorn, Access Code, Dark, Orsa, Anima, SP, IP, Appaloosa. And yeah, that's it about the deck. I hope you can understand that this deck has a lot of potential and can be really good. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, leave a like, and if you want me to cover some combos or do some gameplay on this, just let this video get some likes, and then I'll think about doing a combo video on this. And yeah, goodbye.